Ashton the artist, before we get onto like SlickdotR.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you realised, oh, I want to be an artist when I grow up? Do you remember how old you was? What was that like pivotal moment? I know you mentioned architect was kind of like the path you might have gone down, but when did that moment switch?
Yeah, that moment switched when grime started like popping. Like,
who's your favourite grime from that era? Who's your favourite?
Kano and Hands Down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like East London, East Ham, Beckton area, and just like witnessing something special happening right where I live. It's so different to watching what's going on in America,
on MTV,
you know, or watching like what's on, you know, now that's what I call music 98 or something. Like,
so you love Channel U then?
Yeah, Channel U. It's like you get to see your people, you know, doing dope stuff. So like, yeah, it just inspired me to start writing, and that was
how old was you when grime was popping? I'm trying to do the maths. I feel like I
remember the year. Wait,
secondary or college? I can't remember.
It was this secondary school, like late secondary school. Like I was in year
like 15, 16.
Yeah, so I was probably like year 9 or year 10 when things started. Getting like really inspiring and stuff, and I started writing.
When you thought, I'm going to be an artist, just before those crucial GCSE choices?
Yeah, like 2006 and 7 was where I started thinking, oh, I want to write. And then 2008 is where I started properly putting music out on MySpace. I think it was around that time. Like just recording my own mixtapes and doing covers of all these beats and just getting involved, you know.
To just find out who you are as an artist.
Yeah. And like just we had a crew that we were kind of forming around that time as well.
Everyone had a crew back then, didn't they?
Yeah, man.
So what was the first step? So you know it was around that time, 2006, 2007. Was it asking your mum for some kit for your birthday or Christmas? Like, what was the first thing you did?
Yeah.
Other than writing, because obviously that was kind of easy probably to access.
Yeah.
But obviously back then, young black boy, like technology is expensive. So, how did you get started into actually recording?
Yeah, so I had, I'm sure my mum sorted out a computer, but that's the first thing. And then
what kind of computer was
like that old CPU, and a big monitor. I had that sorted that out. I remember going to Brixton with my dad to get my first mic, which is really cool. It was like a Samsung mic. It's like an old big silver kind of condenser mic. And then that's all I needed at the beginning, like that and just a mic stand.
Just to be able to record yourself.
Yeah, and then I had I used a coat hanger and my sister's old pair of tights as a microphone popper.
I love the creativity. That's so resourceful.
It worked.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I've got like videos of like just everyone used to come down to mine to record.
Okay.
Like literally, a lot of people.
Because I think about this when I look back on my career. At that point, did you realise you was being an engineer, a producer, or was you just like, I'm having fun with my friends?
Yeah. Like,
we didn't know the titles back then of what we was doing, so we was just doing stuff. Yeah. Not actually realising like the skill set.
Literally, I was just self-taught. YouTube was my best friend.
Was finding out then? I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was
like really early days. Like I've got videos. Like I've unlisted them, but I've still got them on my channel. Like from back then, where it's like filming on your mobile phone, like this. The
quality must have been beautiful.
Sony Ericssons. And it was a crazy time. But yeah, YouTube was there back then on the early MySpace days. But yeah, like sound engineering, that's what I did at that age, but not knowing it, you know.
That's what you was doing,
and mixing, even though it was terrible, like the quality wasn't good.
What softwares was you recording into back then? What was the pop-in? Or did you just have some like free one you could download on LimeWire?
It was a free one. Yeah, LimeWire, yeah. It was, oh my day, it was, what was it called? It was called like a Mixcraft or something like that. No, not many people know about it. Probably not. It might have been made by Adobe, but yeah. But yeah, like it's crazy, man. How technology just evolves, you know.
And then you said you was already writing a lot. What were your writing habits like? I've heard so many variations of this with so many artists I talked to.
Yeah.
What's your writing or creative process?
Okay. Now or back then? Back
I'm
then.
sure it's changed.
Yeah. Back then, I would literally just have loads of instrumentals on my phone. And I vividly remember I spent a lot of time at night just having my headphones on and writing. I was meant to be going to sleep, but I was in bed just writing.
So you've never been a good sleeper then?
No, I've always been a late guy. Even, going to school for 8:30-ish. I'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning writing or listening to music or doing something.
Did your parents know, or was it all secret in the headphones, under the quilt, pretending you were asleep?
My mum must have knew, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just used to just music on loop and just write stuff in my notepad back then. Yeah.
Yeah, no phone notes back then.
No. But yeah, things have changed now. It's the writing style's just so different now. It'll be produced. But now that I produce all my own stuff, it's I'm always working on the beat, and then if I get inspired, then I'll start mumbling some sort of a melody or chorus, and then I might record voice note, record bits here and there, then write. It's more of I try to make it more of a free flowing, everything
process
happening at the same time
more
kind of process.
I guess. Whereas back then it was let me get these bars down.
Yeah. So things have changed.
So we've talked about Ashton the artist, but obviously that was you as a young person just discovering your music. Let's talk a bit more about the birth of SlickdotR. So creating that brand, it's not easy. And actually, I've heard that wasn't where it started.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how many people know this, but once upon a time, SlickdotR was actually Slick, aka Ruthless. I've got no idea where that all came from, though, to be honest. I can't quite remember when he made the pivotal change, but that's who he used to be, and it was such good times back then, back when he was called that. Not to say it's not good times now, but it just brings back proper old memories.
Oh, my days.
Now, I remember SlickdotR, aka Ruthless, because I feel like you were still that when I first discovered you as an artist. Tell me about that decision. Where's the Ruthless come from?
Slick.
And why'd you drop it?
Yeah, so back then, everyone, there was Tinty Strider, there was Tiny Temper, they're always double names.
Right.
So something, and I liked, Slick, felt right, and the Ruthless was more, I feel I was fronting, the ones where a lot of people think they're bad, but then you realise I'm not that guy. So but I ran with it in terms of being ruthless on the mic. That's how my spin was. But as time goes on, I realised it's just a long name. So I just wanted to cut it short, but I wanted to keep the R.
Right.
So the R.
So you dropped the Ruthless.
Yeah. So SlickdotR. I used to spell it as SLICK and an actual full stop, then the R.
I remember.
But now it's Slick DOTR. I just wanted it to be one word kind of thing.
It's better for the hashtags as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't put a dot in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good for all the website, all the handles, branding.
And was that a difficult process for you coming up with how you was going to brand yourself, or did you already was it something that gradually just formed?
I think it's something that gradually formed. It's hard to remember when exactly I was called Slick, but it was in secondary school towards the end. But over time it just naturally adjusts until you get to a point where you're this is definitely it kind of thing. So it naturally happened. It wasn't too much of a well thought out process. It was more just natural.
It's a bit more organic.
Yeah.
So at that point that SlickdotR was born, what would you say music meant to you in those moments of I'm going to become this artist, this brand?
Yeah. Music meant to me, it meant a way. It was a way for me to express myself, just be able to, say what I felt, And there was an element of like, I like this because it's cool. Like it just allows you to be a bit flamboyant, a bit artistic, you know, and just do something that doesn't necessarily fit in with what the institute is trying to make you do, kind of thing. It's just, you know, that's what music meant to me and still means to me. Like just being able to be your true, free self.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, one of the closest people to you, this is what they think music means to you.
Music means absolutely everything to SlickdotR. It's taken him through his best times, his worst times. He's been making it since he was so young. Back in the day when we were kids, honestly, the house would not be quiet in the slightest. Whether he's playing his own music, making his own music, or listening to other people's music, it was just never a quiet day in the house. And the day he moved out, it was pretty sad because the house it went silent. It was sad.
How does it feel hearing your sister Chingyel's point of view on what music means to you?
Wow, like it's nice to hear that back, because even when she's talking, it's just taking me back to those times, and I know that, you know, music's an important part of her life as well. And she even puts me onto artists now, like, but back then it was always me playing all the new grime.
Introducing her.
Yeah, like everything, you know, I was playing, like she was absorbing it, and so it's nice to hear her perspective on like what it was like in the house. And yeah, I was always blasting my music, like yeah. But like, props to Mum for like just allowing me to play music loud quite a lot.
Because obviously in Black communities, that's not always accepted. It's like, oh, what you want? This is a hobby. Yeah. What do you mean? So it's so amazing.
Yeah, and like just allowing me to have friends over and make music.
Yeah.
Midweek, like late.
Wow.
You know, like when I think about it, it really, you know, gave a lot of us like an avenue to kind of channel our energy, and also spend less time, for some of my friends, like less time out doing stupidness.
Yeah.
We were focusing on something which was productive, you know.
Especially like, it's nice that you create that safe space for so many young people though. Like you probably didn't realise that's what you was doing, but like you said, kept them indoors, kept them doing something creative. It's funny that Chingyel said there was silence once you left. How many hours a day would you say on average is music less for you? So as in, there is silence. Because even when I walked in today, obviously tunes were playing.
Yeah. Like,
are you one of those in the shower, before bed, cooking, travelling? Or in the studio, your own music? Is it just like consistent sound?
Literally, the only time there is silence is probably when my fiance needs a silence to kind of work on something, and it's like, but it's different now that, you know, my studio is all the way upstairs. I'm still always playing music, but you know, when we were living together in a flat we were living in before, you know, during like lockdown and stuff, there were moments where, okay, just turn down for now. But like, aside from that, like, it's always on headphones. We've got our Apple HomePods and like multiple rooms. Music has to be playing, because like, it's just a vibe that, I don't know, it gives me energy. Yeah. It energizes me.
I mean, scientifically as well, it's uplifting, isn't it?
Yeah, it lifts my moods. I'm always rocking music, whether it's making it or listening to it. Love it, man. Yeah.
And obviously we've talked about at home how much you were supported, but also it wasn't just at home that your talent was recognised.
Wherever I've seen Ashton stay, whether it's, you know, uni halls, flats, his home, anywhere that I've gone to check him, he's always had some kind of studio set up. I feel like it must be the first thing he sets up when he moves somewhere, but he's always had a mic, he's always had his computer, his MIDI keyboard, everything ready to go. And you can just tell that it's a priority for him, you know, he takes it seriously.
We were in uni, I think it was my first year. I was introduced for a friend, and Slick had a little setup in his room, and I just remember thinking, this guy is really technical and he's really advanced for the time. you know, because I didn't know how to use any of this stuff. I wasn't even producing, engineering, doing nothing then. I was just a rapper. You know, we worked together and it was a real easy, enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How does that feel hearing that?
That's cool, man.
To my knowledge, you've always had a home set up.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I've known you, you've always had some way to create your music. Yeah.
Since that old computer I had, like, I've always had a setup. And that's really cool to hear, because Mike, I remember he's the one who's always put me on. He put me on to like Logic and getting a MacBook. And I remember he was producing, like, I remember rapping on a couple of his beats.
Wow,
in first year of uni. Yeah, like he's amazing with the keys. So, and then with Odyssey, Neiman, I remember that session we had. And he came through. He was helping with like the singing and writing, and I remember engineering for that as well. And look to see where he is now. You know, he's got Novocaine Studios, a solidified studio in Forest Hill, and he's an amazing songwriter, singer, sound engineer, mixing, everything. So it's nice to just hear how they both have kind of seen or like appreciated
and
or
seen how important music was to you from the moment they met you.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's continued.
Yeah. It's mad.
But I also spoke to someone who met you a bit later down in your musical career, and I thought it was quite funny what he said about what music means to you.
I think it's like a religion for him. He's very religious with it. Just being in the studio with him as well, I've seen many moments where I can tell that this guy really appreciates his own art.
Religion, you know, that's a big statement.
Yeah.
Are you religious?
I'm spiritual.
Okay.
I'm, you know, I believe in God. I know there's God. I know there's ultimate creator. I believe I was created and we are, you know, there's a lot to appreciate in life. And, but religion it's politics.
So is music the closest thing to a religion for you, the way that you practice it daily?
Yeah, like I've never thought about it in that way.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting he said that.
It is like music is, I've always said music is like the first form, in the way I view it, first form of communication between humans. I have a feeling it was like sound, like drums, waves. It's a way of like showing who you are. You know, I'm sure there were different sounds for different tribes, and you know, before words were a thing, we communicate with grunts and sounds and vibrations and all that. So like to think of that, and then what music does, it's a sound that anyone in the world can understand. You don't have to speak a certain language. It's just something we all feel. So if you feel that, if you understand that, it's like it brings us all together, which is spiritual and powerful. So like,
and it doesn't matter what culture or where you come from. I feel like, the same song can connect across the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, connect with people.
So yeah, music, religious, that, yes.
So you might start a cult.
But like that being said, like think of gospel, like that's probably one of the oldest, you know, genres. Like just how powerful is it when you go to church and everyone's singing and giving praise? Like it's powerful, man. So it's like, I like what Rodney said there, man.
Do you think there's anything in this life that means as much to you as music?
Aside from the people in my life, you know, family, friends and loved ones, are we talking like specific things?
Yeah, one thing that you're like, makes you as equally happy, excited, you're as equally passionate about. I think
I can't see my life without being involved doing music or in some capacity. Like I feel like that's my life's purpose, like music, you know. So
it's nice that you know that as well, that that's your life's purpose, because some people don't find that. So
and I'm like so grateful for that, you know, just to have something that I know that, like, if there was no such thing as money and having to work, and I know what I'll spend my time doing. You know, so, and I appreciate that not everyone knows that.
Does that.
Yeah.
Well, your fiance seems to agree.
it means everything. It's his world. It's our world now, you know. It's his creative outlet. It's his energizer. It's his passion. It's his life. You know, he truly believes in it. He truly immerses himself in that world, in his musical world, in his creative world. But he invites you in as well. And that feels really special.
Oh, that's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone can tell it is your absolute baby.
Yeah, literally.
So producing and performing your music solo, I feel like because you're such a one-man band, would you say you're always in your heads a little bit?
Yeah, like it's because like I've kind of worn many hats, and I've been self-taught. Everything I know, I've had to kind of go out and learn myself. So I've had to do everything at some stage all for myself.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you grow up through that process, then it just means you have to think about so many different things at the same time. And now I'm at a stage where when I'm producing, it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to like just think of one thing. I've got to think of the bigger picture and the vision, and you know, like I have to envisage
overall, what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, like when I'm making music, I'm thinking of, oh, how is this going to sound when I'm performing it? Or how is this going to look visually? But this is all when I'm just making the beat. Like, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm overthinking when we're making music.
So you're an overthinker then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely overthink. And I think that is my weak point. It's a strong thing for some areas, but the thing that taps into my weakness, which is something that I'm working on now to grow in, is songwriting. I know I want to continue improving with songwriting.
Yeah.
And I understand that to be a good songwriter, sometimes you have to stop overthinking.
Right.
You have to kind of like let it flow, what you're trying to say, instead of being too technical with it or trying to make it.
The metaphors. And because some of the biggest songs in the world have the most basic lyrics, but it's because the words they choose or the way that it's delivered, the melody in it, that's why it connects.
Yeah.
So I really agree,
Yeah, so sometimes it's good to overthink, but a lot of time it's good to just be free and just don't overthink. So, yeah.
And at this point in your journey, be honest with me, because I've definitely had that moment where I thought, I'm going to release this and boom, it's going to go viral, it's going to break the internet. And, you know, ironically, it's always the stuff that I don't think it's going to do that normally does better. Do you have these thoughts like, I'm going to drop this and in X amount of time, this is going to happen? Or do you just go into it with, let's just see what happens with this next thing? Especially leading up to SR3 coming out, do you put that pressure on yourself, or is there...
There is a pressure that I'm putting on myself because, you know, like time is going and, you know, I'm getting older, and then, you know, life, there's more responsibilities and things that I do want to, you know, do outside of music.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, kind of put pressure on things needing to kind of happen, you know.
Faster,
yeah. So there's that element, but on the other side, like, I try not to focus on, you know, like specific things happening in a certain way.
Right.
Like,
that's smart.
And this is partly because I've you know, going through as an artist and a producer, like I've grown accustomed to rejection and things not working out, and I think I'm desensitized to things not happening, going the right way. I think I'm growing to just be like cool with things not happening perfectly, kind of thing. So I'm just used to things not. I think I'm repeating myself.
I feel like not having expectations actually just helps everything, because then anything that does come from it is like almost a bonus.
Yeah.
When you set up your expectations for, I'm going to do this and X is going to happen, that's when you get the disappointment.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I think I want to change the way I kind of set my goals, because I guess some goals could be, oh, I want to get this many streams, I want to get this number, I want to make this amount, but I think the goals that are more important are, I want to build connections with people. I want my music to touch people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many it touches, as long as it does connect.
Yeah.
And that's why doing it, performing live is so important to me, because that's where I feel that my music has an impact on who's like there and embracing it, rather than just thinking, oh, it needs to get this many streams, or do you know what I mean? So like my goals and intentions and expectations are kind of shifting according to like how long I've been doing it, and but we're good.
So we've talked about the birth of SlickdotR, but even though he was already born, you still had to enter into what I would describe as one of the most difficult, confusing, challenging, emotional industries going, the entertainment industry. Did you know much about it before you entered it, or was you a bit like blindsided?
I literally have had no idea about what I was getting into, or, you know, what it takes, or kind of how I'd have to navigate. Like I was saying earlier about the sound engineering side of things, like everything I've done is just been self-taught. Yeah. I haven't really had like a older mentor who can like kind of... I'm guessing,
even though your dad's loved music as a passion, he wasn't in the industry. So family, friends around you, it's not like you had someone already in there to guide you. Yeah, so literally just going into things. Yeah, literally winging it. I think, uni, kind of being at uni kind of got me into performing more. Like this is where I first started getting into performing, and after uni, you know, doing like open mics, and then, you know, starting to email people, hand out mixtapes, and all of that sort of stuff is where I first started taking it seriously in terms of like, okay, I need to put myself out there. Yeah. But it's going in blind, just winging it really. And obviously, it's one thing making the music, you've been making music, but marketing yourself, as you mentioned, emailing people, how was your relationship into that? Like knowing how to pitch yourself as an artist to whether it was radio stations, whether it is pluggers for shows, like how did you go about that?
This is, it's a tricky one, because I feel like it's an ongoing process. Even to now, it's like I'm still learning from mistakes of previous releases. So, you know, the way I approach it, I try and find, you know, ideas and tips on how to approach it from like articles and YouTube, and even like yourself. Like there's a time where you've, you know, helped me with like press releases, and just, you know, like things we've done together has taught me certain things I should implement when putting music out and reaching out to people. So it's always an ongoing process. Yeah. And but I'm just learning that you just gotta be, you know, persistent, and don't be afraid to chase up and just keep going really, and just making sure that you're communicating with people. And it comes in ups and downs. Like sometimes I feel that, I don't know, that my motivation for, you know, marketing and reaching out to people goes up and down really. Sometimes I'm like really on it, but sometimes it's like, because I guess it's not part of like in what you are as an artist. That's just the business side of things. It's not actually part of the creative process. So it's just an additional thing you've got to do almost. Yeah, exactly.